They say that competitive eating is the battleground upon which God and Lucifer wage war for men's souls, my friends, and they are right. For this is a battle of the ages, a battle of the titans, the early gods who come to Earth only once, in only one location, and that is here in Coney Island, Brooklyn, for only one purpose, and that is the Nathan's famous 4th of July hot dog eating contest. We arrive at our destination by the sum of all our paths and the unswerving punctuality of chance. So it is, and so it always shall be. Let the contest begin!
ESPN and Major League Eating welcome you to the 2024 Nathan's Famous International Hot Dog Eating Contest. We're here at the corner of Stillwell and Surf, Coney Island, Brooklyn, New York, Kings County. It's Independence Day. A throng building in anticipation. There is eating to be done, a gathering of the maestros of mastication. The mustard belt will change hands for the first time in 8 years. The dogs are on the grill. The buns are being split apart. The condiment dispensers filled to the brim. The stakes couldn't be higher, and the conditions, frankly, they are ideal. High 70s. Humidity not too bad. A nice breeze coming up off the North Atlantic. I am Jeremy Schaap. He is Rich Shea, the president of Major League Eating. And Rich, of course, the big story is no Joey Chestnut. He signed an endorsement contract with a rival food brand, not Nathan's, not competing here under the auspices of Nathan's. What does it mean to you that he is not here, the greatest eater ever, to compete, to fight for his 17th mustard belt?
Yeah, I don't know. Is it live eating, Jeremy? Maybe. We'll see. But what I do know is Joey's had a lot of great moments out here on the corner of Surf and Stillwell Avenues. I mean, you could insert made him between Nathan's and Famous. Just a great competitor, a great guy, a grown man, and a man who's made a choice not to be here today. But fortunately for us, tens of thousands of people are crowding around Nathan's Famous. It's a pilgrimage every year. This is not a paid Hollywood crowd. This is excitement, and I think there's a great show coming to him.
And not just 10,000 people, but some great eaters who want that mustard belt, like Nick Weary.
Nick Ware is solid in 4th place. I mean, number 4 ranked eater in Major League Eating. Just a consistent force on the circuit. He'd love nothing more than to get this belt. James Webb from Australia on a tear this year. He has 6 Major League Eating wins coming in with motion. And then, of course, with all the Boston fans behind him on the heels of that Celtic victory, Jeffrey Esper.
And Tiffany Green's with another of the most serious contenders here.
Well, guys, you can't sleep on Pat Bertoletti. He downed 55 hot dogs, which is the best and most of any in the field today back in 2011. He's looking to eclipse that number more than a decade later. Now he says his weight is down, he's practiced his technique, he's in a great mental space, and instead of finishing and racing for a second, he believes he could bring home that master belt.
All right, we're counting down now to the men's hot dog eating contest, but first, we've got another competition. I know, Rich, it's one of your favorites. It is the Nathan's Lemonade Chugging Competition, which is a shorter competition. It's only about a minute, and Eric Badlands Booker, he's dominated for years. Let's send it down now to your much more charming but older brother, George Shea.
And now, my friends, it is time for the Chugging Championship of the World. Reigning champion Badlands Booker, 23.8 seconds for a gallon of Nathan's lemonade. But we will see if that record is broken here today. Count it down with me from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
The kid, are we open?
Badlands in a zone here. I don't know it's like a wave machine. Oh! Ladies and gentlemen, Badlands Booker, a new world record. 21 seconds, a new world record. 1 gallon of Nathan's Famous lemonade. The once and future champion of the world, Badlands Booker.
When we return, the women's competition from earlier today in its entirety. Miki Sudo was looking for her 10th pink belt, but she was well aware of the very stiff competition.
Michelle Lesko is a little powerhouse. That girl can eat. I have so much respect for Miss Ebihara Mayoi. In her first outing at Nathan, she ate 34 hot dogs, and she really pushed me. I am ready to go. This year I'm going for my 10th belt. This fire is still burning strong inside.
ESPN's coverage of the 2024 Nathan's Famous Hot Dog Eating Contest is brought to you by Nathan's Famous, the flavor of New York. Max Verstappen leads the F1 field into the 75th running of the British Grand Prix at Silverstone. That's Sunday morning at 10 Eastern Time on ESPN2, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Plus in English and Spanish. Pre-race coverage begins at 8:30 Eastern Time. Jeremy Schaap back on Coney Island with Rich Shea, the president of Major League Eating. And the women's competition took place just about an hour ago. Miki Sudo, the great champion, looking for her 10th win in 10 competitions, Rich.
Yeah, she's going to have to face off with the upstart Ebihara out of Japan. Miki, you know, quite the champion, the most titles ever out here for a female.
But there were some other great competitors taking part in this competition. Sudo, of course, well known to all. Michelle Lesko, a former champion. And from Japan, Ebihara, who was spectacular last year as a rookie.
Absolutely. You know, Ebihara has them shaking in their boots out here in America because the ladies don't like this interloper. And, of course, Michelle Lesko doing it for Coastal Arizona University. Go Ducks.
All right, let's now watch the 2024 women's competition in its entirety. Here is George Shea.
Count it down with me from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Mayoi Ebihara to the left of Miki Sudo.
And there's Miki Sudo, Rich. Her technique impeccable.
Yeah, you know, just look at Miki out of the gate. It's a style with ease, excellence through experience, like a Will Vote photo or a Matt Labash Substack. Speaking of stacks, she ate 91 pancakes in 8 minutes. It happened at the Abelskiver contest in Elkhorn, Iowa. Elkhorn, a big, you know, Danish ethnicity enclave.
Which explains the pancakes.
Yes.
The fondness.
The Abelskiver is like a pancake.
Pancakes, I understand, though, are a choking hazard. They're one of the most difficult foods to eat.
Right, all of this. Don't try any of this at home. This is not a backyard game. We have paramedics and EMTs on hand.
And we were talking about the conditions, the weather conditions being ideal, this temperature, the breeze, and that affects the way the eaters eat.
Oh, without a doubt. And we've been out here many, many times with just, 90 degrees and 90% humidity. I think the humidity's dropped since we got here, actually. We're getting a little breeze off the beautiful Atlantic Ocean, and there's Ebihara.
She is absolutely burning calories. Yes, she's eating a lot of calories, but she's burning them at the same time. It's balance and equipoise.
You know, Ebihara loves Western music. Of course, Taylor Swift is one of her favorites, but she told me she started a Sabrina Carpenter fan club in Tokyo, and she's trying to spread the Sabrina Carpenter love, and perhaps that's what she's jamming to in that brain of hers right now. Seems comfortable.
And you can see that she's getting into a different kind of rhythm than Miki Sudo, for instance.
Without a doubt.
They're calling it the hot dog. They're doing the hot dog.
And Miki Sudo, not just one of the great champions in the annals of competitive eating,
Right here.
you know, not just, one of the greatest hot dog eaters of all time, but she's one of the best overall eaters. And of course, she is engaged to, as we mentioned earlier, Nick Weary, who's one of the best eaters in the world too.
That's right. Sunday dinner is a competitive eating situation in their home.
Right now, the race seems to be between Mayoi and Ebihara.
For more on Miki Sudo, here's Tiffany Green.
Well, Miki Sudo knows that her competitive eating career will come to an end at some point, and that's why she decided a couple of years ago to enroll in an accelerated dental hygienist program at Hillsborough Community College. And just as methodical as she is on the stage, she is that in the classroom as well. A 3.97 GPA. And how does she practice her skills? You mentioned her fiance, Nick Weary. Well, he gets to sit underneath the chair as she practices her skills as a dental hygienist. She says though after this, everybody will be brushing their teeth, including their son, Max, just to make sure they have a clean slate, especially after eating all these dogs today.
You know, Jeremy, that shot of Nick, you speak of dental hygiene, he looks like Hermie and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, you know, the elf that was aspiring to be a dentist, and that got him ridiculed and kicked out of elf school.
Well, you know, there's a lot of dental themes going on today, Rich, because Michelle Lesko, who we can see at this point, and this is the unofficial count, we should emphasize, is in third place. She told us yesterday that she's having some issues with her mouth right now.
Yeah, and you know, there's no bigger issue than a dental issue for a competitive eater. Now, you're going to see Mickey go to her shoulder every once in a while. You may think she's looking over it like A-Boogie, but actually that shoulder wipe has become a trademark of Mickey's. No coach would teach it. It's a distraction, but she gets away with it. It's a tick, like Charles Barkley's backswing. I don't know if you've ever seen Barkley off the tee, but it's bizarre. And there's Michelle. You know, here, I saw earlier her elbow inching ever so close to Ebihara, like Angel Reese trying to box out Caitlin Clark. One thing you'll notice in the pros here, these ladies are just a bit territorial.
All right, after the hot dog eating competitions are over, we should talk about some NWSL. Mallory Swanson and the Chicago Red Stars. They are playing host to the Houston Dash. A holiday weekend NWSL matchup. Coverage begins Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Plus. And right now, this is pretty much, Rich, what we might have expected. Sudo with the lead, Ebihara in second. Lesko seems to be slowing down.
Yeah, Lesko though, you know, people think it's frenetic. I actually think it's like a Balanchine ballet when I watch Michelle Lesko. She's got her own style.
And Tiffany has more on Ebihara.
Well, we saw last year that Mayoi Ebihara decided to go 2 dogs to 1. This year, she changed the ratio from a 1 hot dog to 1 bun ratio this year, and that really distracted Miki Sudo last year. And you can see it's having a little bit of an effect again this year as Ebihara has really gotten into a rhythm, and while she's still about 6 dogs behind unofficially, Ebihara says this competition will mean the world to her because she's never won an eating competition before, and right now she is giving Sudo the push that we expected to see.
She's right there. One thing that might be concerning for Ebihara, if she is in fact aware of where they are relative to each other right now, is that Sudo is a remarkably consistent eater over the course of the 10 minutes, unlike a lot of heaters who really come out hot.
Yeah, and that's where the comfort level, as we talked about at the top of the show, comes from. It's Mickey has that comfort level. I think Ebihara is trying to kick it in right now. She may take a little phantom tax off of Mickey's plate if she can. She's trying to catch up. It's a 10-dog margin right now, and Lesko really falling back.
You've been doing this so long, Rich. You and George are really the godfathers of competitive eating. What do you think separates a great competitive eater from the rest?
You know, just like any other sport, dedication. They watch their films, you know, they focus on this. They live and breathe competitive eating. You know, someone who's really lived and breathed competitive eating there to Mickey's left is Michelle, typically happy. She now looks like to be in a bit of discomfort, like she's about to fly across country with no status. You know, she puts on a brave face, but her body language today is saying group 6, middle seat.
It's not easy out there. I mean, it's one of those things we think we can all eat, right? But it goes way beyond that.
Well, that's kind of the charm of the sport. You know, you and I know what it means to eat a hot dog or 2. What about eating 76 of them? I know what it means to eat a donut. What about eating 70 of them in 8 minutes? You know, and that's where it becomes staggering. There's Laurel Marie on the left of the screen from Long Pond. She was here in the very first contest years ago. She's the grand dame of this women's contest. First appearance in 2011, and she told me yesterday that she loves ice cream, so every year Laurel on the left side of the screen there will go get ice cream on the boardwalk, and that's why she refuses to enter a Major League Eating ice cream eating contest, because she doesn't want to make her beloved treat feel like work.
So we're really at about the 75% mark over the course of the 10 minutes, but in actuality for the eaters it probably feels like they're about 95% of the way there in terms of how much more they can consume, right?
Yeah. Mickey's getting comfortable now with an 11-dog lead. You know, her style in the final minutes is like the prose of Eudora Welty. She punctuates everything with a quickness. It just lends an urgency to her performance. I fear she is not going to slow down right now in the last minutes.
I mean, look what Miki Sudo is doing. 42 dogs down, again, the unofficial count with 2 minutes still to eat. This is an epic performance we are witnessing when there were a lot of people who thought that this might be Ebi Hara's day. That does not seem like that's going to happen now.
You know, I'll admit I was one of them. Yesterday when I talked with Miki in the lobby, she just seemed anxious. But, Barbara Streisand said she gets anxious before a performance. So perhaps that's just a sign of greatness, you know what I mean? You take every game, every show, you take it personally, you get your body into it and your mind into it. And Miki, just in fifth gear here.
And I mean, to be that good, we're talking about 4 times as many dogs as somebody on the leaderboard.
Yeah, if you look at Childress, who is admittedly a new eater, trying to keep pace with Laurel, but you just boom, look at the margin.
Now what it's coming down to, of course, Rich, is the 50-dog threshold. It would mean so much to Miki Sudo to get to the 50-dog threshold.
But there's Badlands looking on. He loves this game. He'll be chugging later today. Miki Sudo has a best of 48.5. She's got 55 seconds to beat it. This is unofficial, of course. We may see a new woman's record here today.
And by the way, if she ends up at 50 or 51, which is still within the realm of possibility, she might eat more than the men coming up in about an hour.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a new world record. Miki Sudo too busy dancing to get knocked off her feet. Belt number 9 on its way. 10, belt 10, my goodness. Belt number 10 on its way for Miki.
10 out of 10. This is just a dominating performance by Miki Sudo.
New women's record, history made in Coney Island.
The 50 hot dog threshold has been broken.
She may have to compete in the men's contest with that number. Holy cow.
$51 dogs, that's the official count, Rich. It's like Will Chamberlain in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
A life-affirming performance. I teared up at the end of that call, I'm being honest.
Tiffany Green is now with Miki Sudo live. She's had about an hour to recover from that performance.
Well, she's the most decorated eater in the contest today, men's or women's. You set your sights on 50. What kind of message did you send today, being the first woman to eclipse 50?
You know that even 10 years into this, I still have more to show. The women's record's just going to improve from here on out, and there are a lot of exciting things to come.
All right, congratulations. What are you going to eat after?
I'll probably look for something cold and refreshing, maybe a piece of fruit, soft serve.
Thanks so much, guys.
A thrilling women's competition. Up next, our thoughts on the man who isn't here, but who has been the face of this sport for so long, the great Joey Chestnut. For 2 decades, we have thrilled to this sight. Like Mozart at the piano, composing, or Picasso at the easel, painting, Joey Chestnut on Coney Island, eating, is the essence of greatness.
Nathan's Famous owns July 4th. Joey Chestnut owns America.
From the beginning, there was something that set Chestnut apart.
Kobayashi was 40, Sonia was 33. The story here today for me, though, is this man is pound for pound. Chestnut might be the best rookie we've ever seen.
That was 2005. 2 years later, Chestnut ascended to the hot dog throne.
Chestnut has done it!
And here he has reigned ever since, except for 2015.
He has dethroned the king.
The briefest of interregnums. One loss in the last 17 contests. A record that puts Chestnut on the same plane with the likes of the all-time greats in the universe of competition, that has made him the Babe Ruth of beef, the Warren Buffett of the buffet, the Joe Louis of the digestive tract. His 4th of July record in Brooklyn, unlikely ever to be matched. But this year, greatest eater of our time has put down the dogs and buns. At least the Nathan's dogs and buns. After Chestnut signed an endorsement contract with a brand that makes plant-based hot dogs, the gustatory bands that connected Chestnut and Nathan's dissolved. More than half a century after the Beatles went their separate ways, there's been a similar reaction to the Chestnut-Nathan's breakup.
It was shocking. He got a better deal and took it. So I don't really see anything wrong with what he did.
It will feel really weird him not being there, but he opened the door for everybody else.
It stinks that he's not here, but the fact of the matter is this is going to be the most exciting contest in a long time.
What is Joey Chestnut without the Nathan's Championship? What is the championship without Joey Chestnut? Today, right here, one of those questions will be answered. Rich, Nick Weary said it. Greatest of all time. But this might be more exciting than anything we've seen, at least since 2015 when he lost to Matt Stoney.
Absolutely. This is a great contest today, and I'm just pleased to have been able to call all those great performances by Joey Chestnut. No distaste from MLE. We love the guy. What a competitor, but you're right. Today is going to rock and roll.
And Tiffany Green is with two men who are in the hunt to succeed Joey Chestnut as a champ.
One of the heavily favored contenders here today. You've been in this position multiple times over, but what's it going to take to get over the top and get that mustard belt?
It's going to have to take personal best. Everybody's going to have to give 100% today if they want to win this contest today. That's for sure.
The Australian James Webb, you've talked about how locked in you've been this year in terms of what's going to be that one key for you to come out victorious.
Honestly, whoever blinks first is going to lose. It's going to be a fierce battle. I'm really looking forward to it.
Thanks so much, guys. Good luck.
Thank you.
And coming up, it's something we all look forward to. In addition to the competition itself, George Shea's remarkable, inimitable introductions for the eaters after the break.
Of humanity, nothing is born but humanity. Of the beast, nothing but the beast. And of evil comes only evil, the child of pain resting in a cradle of rose petals stained red from the blood of the damned, who speaks in the language of hell to herald the coming reign of darkness. Or, translated to English, prepare to spend eternity in a pit of torment. My time is at hand. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you George Chigger, the red horse of death. A man so evil they put him in prison in hell. Hell prison! This man is under attack by an international syndicate of terrorists, essentially a rogue nation that is trying to destroy the entire world. Oh wait, that's the plot of Mission Impossible 4. What am I saying? I'm sorry. This man is under attack by his supervisor at work for taking too long on his lunch break. But that's when he does his best training. 50 donuts, 16 pounds of strawberry shortcake, 36 hot dogs and buns, a major new talent on the MLE circuit from Phoenixville, PA, John Yeager. He is the 8th Archangel, Gideon the Exalted. 6 feet 9 inches tall, 7 feet from tip of wing to tip of wing. The undisputed kale-eating champion of the world. 2 pounds of bologna in 52 seconds. 10 pounds of baked beans in 1 minute and 45 seconds. 38 hot dogs and buns, ranked number 6 in the world, Gideon Oji.
The bloodline of the warriors who fought in the great battles at the beginning of time stretches forward through the eons. And even today there are those who share this birthright. And so shall history hear the echo of itself in the triumphs of this man. 50 hard-boiled eggs in 3 minutes and 4 seconds. 2 gallons of baby food. 48 hot dogs and buns. Ranked number 4 in the world from Tampa, Florida, Nick Worre. He was 4 beers deep, sitting on his couch, burping Chinese food, and playing Final Fantasy VII Dragon's Death Slaughter when his girlfriend said, "I don't think this relationship is working." And he experienced an almost physical reaction of pure euphoria, because this meant he could focus on competitive eating with no distractions, and so he has. Ranked number 9 in the world, with 32 world records, 21 pounds of grits, 275 jalapeno peppers, 55 hot dogs and buns, from Chicago, Illinois, the great Patrick Bertoletti! He joined the circuit 2 years ago, and he is already ranked number 5 in the world. 6 Major League Eating wins in 6 months, 6 world records, 70 donuts, 224 chicken wings, 13.25 pounds of fudge, 47 Nathan's Famous hot dogs and buns. From the lovely city of Sydney, Australia, ranked number 1 in the Southern Hemisphere, James Webb. He is a man of great wisdom, whose patience is surpassed only by his determination. And he never questions the power of belief, and he will never turn away from his goal, because he lives by a simple moral code. Onward when weary, onward when broken, onward when beaten, ever onward, only onward. This is our labor. The number 2 ranked eater in the world, 19 world records, 83 slices of pizza, 13 cans of Spam, 24 pounds of strawberry shortcake, 51 hot dogs and buns. From Oxford, Massachusetts, I give you Jeffrey Espa!
What more can be said? 14 great competitors will chew, they will bite, they will eat for the mustard belt. The Nathan's Famous Hot Dog Eating Contest when we return. We're back on Coney Island, and these are the rules of the game. Whoever eats the most dogs and buns in 10 minutes is the winner. It's pretty simple. Jeremy Schaap alongside Shea. Rich, we're almost there. What's top of mind right now?
You know, this is the place to be. I'm just stoked to be on the corner surfing Stillwell. I don't want to be making the turn at Maidstone right now. I don't want to be on a boat in Lake Lelanu in Michigan. I want to be right here in Coney Island because I love America and it's Independence Day. This is the epicenter of patriotism.
And this could be really close. This could be very close. Who are you picking to win it?
I got to go with Esper. You know, I was born in Boston. I'm just feeling that Massachusetts vibe today.
Tiffany?
All right, the Aussie is coming in hot from down under, so my pick is James Webb.
I've got Pat Bertoletti. I think Bertoletti, 55 dogs, that's his career best. I think that does it. It's time now for the big chew. Let's send it down to the great George Shea.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is when our nation comes together as one. Derek Stevens in Las Vegas, Pete Haywood in Massachusetts, Drew Cerza in Buffalo, Russell Biven and George Ewart in Knoxville. We are all Americans right now. And so to the matter at hand, the Nathan's Famous 4th of July hot dog eating contest, 10 minutes, all you can eat. Count it down with me from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
I'll give you updates.
Yep, thank you.
Rich, we've been talking about the ideal conditions, especially in contrast to last year when you almost got rained out. How does that affect the actual eating that is taking place?
Well, it's just easier on the eaters because they're out here early in the morning. You know, they got off the bus quite a while ago. They don't want to sit in the heat too long. And right now we got 4 aspirants at the center of the table, Jeremy. 4 top competitors. None of them has won Coney. You know, Bertoletti, Esper, Webb, and Wary. It's like this year's quarterback class. Maybe Esper and Weber, Caleb Williams and Drake May. Wary might be in that 4th slot, right? He might be McCarthy, but he has the physical and mental tools needed to succeed.
How do you think he might be motivated, Nick, by the performance of Miki Sudo, his betrothed, her record-breaking performance about an hour and a half ago here on this very same stage?
Well, I'll tell you, I've been married for 25 years and I'd do anything to keep that going. I'm sure he feels the same way about Mickey. And, you know, one great thing is that Nathan's has eclipsed 2 million dogs donated to the food bank for New York City, and that's a great thing to mention at the top of this show.
That's a lot of dogs.
Yeah. You know, Esper, right there with that baseball hat, he is, at 49, the oldest competitor at the table. I asked him, do you fear getting older? He told me, Rich, age is just a number. And you know what? I agree, Jeremy. Look, Evan Dando is about to tour this fall, 25 dates in 4 weeks. Look at Jagger and Keith, right? You might call Jeff Esper old. We call him the Cal Ripken of the calorie.
Well, he's also in great shape.
He's in fantastic shape. He's a strict gym goer, former power lifter. He wears that baseball hat, and I asked, you know, years ago when I met him on the circuit, I think it was like 2016, I went up and started talking about Bogarts, and he said, I wear the hat. I don't really care about the team. Much like ownership these days.
I mean, this is about as close as it can get. We haven't had a competition like this, Rich, since 2015, right?
Yeah, it's
when Matt
amazing.
Stoney upset Joey Chestnut.
Absolutely. Webb and Wary, you know, nothing separating these guys. The MLE season started off for Webb and Wary with a bit of a beef, a plant-based beef, I guess. It happened at the wonderful pistachio eating contest. Wary felt as though Webb had mishandled his pistachio shells. MLE officials disagreed, and it caused a bit of strain. Nick, to his credit, moved on quickly. He followed the gospel of Jizza. Unnecessary beef is more cows to breed.
And we keep coming back to this, Rich. You keep instructing me on this, but basically, when you're at 6:30, when the counter's at 6:30, that's about half the consumption we can expect from any individual eater over the course of 10 minutes.
Right, the DPMs are high right now. You got a 7.89 DPM for Bertoletti. He's coming in hot. If you're looking for a man in car sales, Bertoletti, right? No savings, 5.9. Car sales, no savings.
And Tiffany Green has Miki Sudo.
Well, I'm standing by with the 10-time champion, Miki Sudo, and she's standing in front of her fiance, Nick Wary. Thus far, how would you assess this start?
Oh, really solid first minute. 22. This is a really great pace. I know Pat's ahead, but he's eating really messy. He's going to have to watch out on the back end because debris is really going to bite him in the end. You know, obviously, center of the table, all big numbers. No telling what's going to happen.
Nick talked about he wanted to change some things up. Instead of listening to heavy metal and hard rock, he said he wanted to hear non-instrumental music. Do you think that's impactful?
If anybody's familiar with Requiem for a Dream, it was listening to that type of music. So super emotion evoking, very intense, very emotional. But that's what this contest is for us.
You've downed 51 hot dogs already today. What was your bit of advice to win?
You know, just stick to what you know best. Don't copy other people's techniques. Do you, and you'll come out on top. Let's go!
What's a typical date night like for you all?
Honestly, just resting and relaxing, spending time with the kids. We love this craziness, but we just love the peace and quiet of home too.
60 dogs down your last date night. Guys, back to you.
And Miki Sudo, she's won every competition she's been in. The only time she didn't win was 3 years ago when she was pregnant.
Now look at James Webb, so steady. It's like watching Steve Logan golf. If you don't know who Steve Logan is, he's an amateur. He just won the member guest at Whippoorwill Club. Was he getting strokes? Sure, but he won due to discipline. Head down, nice and easy, swing through the ball. Webb is showing that same kind of discipline today. He is not letting the crowd or the moment overtake him.
I mean, we have James Webb right now on a 70-dog pace. We don't expect him to be able to maintain that, but when we talked to him yesterday, he was confident that he could approach that 70 dog threshold that has only been reached by one man.
Weird.
One man, Joey Chestnut.
We are deadlocked right now. We're 5 minutes in. This is where endurance is crucial. The dogs keep coming, plate after plate. They're stacking up like issues of the New Yorker on my bedstand. It's relentless. I mean, I got a job in kids, Jeremy. If I make it through Talk of the Town, I'm impressed with myself.
And Tiffany Green has more on the man from down under.
Well, standing in the splash zone, watching James Webb, he's downing 3 dogs at one time. As Mickey Sudo just pointed out to me, that doesn't happen very often. And so James Webb didn't even have Nathan's Hot Dogs participate or practice with in Australia. So he came in to visit a friend in Dallas about a week ago, and he upped his number from 45 to 58 and a half hot dogs in preparation for today's event.
Next, Rich, I was backstage earlier before the competition with Webb and Bertoletti. They are friendly with each other, and they said, actually Pat said, you're talking a 1-2. You're talking a 1-2 right here. There was absolute total confidence from both of them, but only one can win the mustard belt. And by the way, Jeff Esper is right there.
He's right there, you know. It's such a big opportunity for Esper today. A terrific eater, but he's always finished second in Coney. Always blocked by Joey. Can't break through like John Stockton's Jazz were blocked by Jordan's Bills. Like Embiid was blocked by Josh Hart. You know, and I can see the judges in the pit there. You know, Liam Gayron down in the officials pit. Like, those in our higher court. Liam has occasionally shown impartiality, so Emily has gone ahead and made him a lifetime appointee. The king.
And look what Yamamoto is doing. King Yamamoto, 35 right there too. I mean, this is still anybody's competition. We knew this was going to be good, Rich. We didn't know it was going to be this good.
No, it's great. You know, I met Robbie Berger at Advertising Week this year. I told him I wanted Fat Perez in this contest. I'm here, Perez is not. It's a bad look. I mean, maybe he got an on at Shinnecock, but we have golf here in Coney Island. Bingo's mini golf on the boardwalk. I mean, someone should tell Perez that Bingo's doesn't require a collared shirt. Heck, Bingo doesn't care if you wear a shirt at all.
Rich, I don't know if you're approaching this with the appropriate amount of seriousness.
Well, look at
yeah,
this.
I mean,
This Bertoletti
this
now.
is not the Chestnut era. We're talking about down to the wire.
This is unbelievable. Bertoletti now back in the lead, a beloved son of Chicago, like John Hughes and Jason Diamond, but not at Winnetka Brat. He assassins down the avenue on the south side. Morgan Park represent Pat Bertoletti's dad, actually a founding member of the Kenosha Kickers.
And Pat Bertoletti, for a lot of people who are old school fans of competitive eating, there is an emotional connection because he really does represent the very beginnings of the sport as a mainstream preoccupation.
Yeah, he is a fan favorite. You know, he left the sport for a while, like Jordan, right? And you know,
very
less
like
controversy around the around the Bertoletti absence, but he's back and he's looking to dominate. This would be an amazing thing, and I'm sure if Joey's watching on, he's rooting for his buddy Pat. You know, go ahead.
Rich, the fact that, you know, we've got so many eaters who are bunched together, what kind of pressure does that put on the judges who were sworn in by your brother before the competition?
It's a high pressure thing down in the spray zone, but these are trained officials. You know, all of a sudden Webb is doing cardio, you know, totally behind. He keeps waving in more dogs. This is like mezzanine financing meets competitive eating, only the risk is all Webb's.
Look, at this point, I mean, we have to say, what we're seeing with these counts, we have to emphasize again, they're unofficial. Pat Bertoletti has reached the 50-dog milestone. That's a big deal.
Yep.
And he's pulling ahead.
Esper, over-under for Esper coming in to 49.5, came in at -110. I love the guy. He's like a character in a Richard Ford novel. Relatable, not bigger than life, full of mystery.
The Sports Writer.
That Sports Writer is a great book.
Who had Bertoletti? I'm trying to remember. Who had Bertoletti when this before this started? You know.
Yeah.
And at this point, I mean, is it over? Is 5 dogs assuming that this count holds? Is it over? Is Pat Bertoletti going to be our champion?
Well, is he going to break his own personal best of 55? There's 54 with 39 seconds left. Teddy Roosevelt would be proud today. At this moment, Pat Bertoletti is the man in the arena. No victory without struggle. Fulfilling his promise as a citizen and about to be named Nathan's champion.
Again, Pat Bertoletti means so much to the people who follow this sport. And he's been out of it for the most part for a long time. But he is roaring back in a way that very few except me could have anticipated.
Yeah, it is, and Nesper's still hanging tough. 10 seconds to go, but I think Pat Bertoletti's about to have a Coke and a smile here at Nathan's Famous.
3, 2, 1, put down your hot dog!
A personal best for Pat Bertoletti out here in Coney Island. 2 historic events.
Oh my glory!
And our assumption is the mustard belt. Oh, and he just got bumped up a couple of dogs. The judge was a little slow.
58, these are unofficial, but that is impressive.
We have got to get the official result.
Later in his career and performing like that.
It was a hell of a competition. Still not official. We will sort it all out when we come back. ESPN's coverage of the 2024 Nathan's Famous Hot Dog Eating Contest is brought to you by Nathan's Famous, the flavor of New York. And we are still awaiting the official results, but it looks like Pat Bertoletti has won the mustard belt. Only the 4th man in the last quarter century to win the mustard belt with a career-high 58 hot dogs and buns. And Jeffrey Esper, the runner-up again, Rich?
Have 53. Great
In
performance.
4th place,
Pat
the
had
number
it.
4 ranked eater in the world with 46 3/4 hot dogs and buns, the great Nick Werry. In 3rd place, with 52 hot dogs and buns, representing the great nation of Australia, James Webb, 52. However, after that back and forth battle, we had one of these eaters. One of these eaters had 53 hot dogs and buns, and one of these eaters had 58. And the winner is Patrick Bertoletti, 58, Nathan's Famous hot dogs and buns. In 2nd place, the great Jeffrey Esper. Patrick Bertoletti, 58 hot dogs and buns, a personal best for him, a very hard-fought battle. Patrick, how do you feel? Incredible performance. I've never seen you so in sync. How do you feel?
It was all focused today, no mohawk, just hot water, and I wasn't going to stop eating until the job was done.
Ladies and gentlemen, the number 9 ranked eater in the world, that's going to change today. 275 jalapeno peppers and 58 hot dogs and buns, Patrick Bertoletti. Chicago, Illinois.
Straight up. Straight up. Thank you.
And Rich, Pat Bertoletti told us yesterday, if he won today, this would be life-changing. I know at an emotional level, this means a lot to you to see him win.
You know, knowing him for so long, to see Pat lift that belt, it's heartening for sure.
Tiffany Green now with the new man in possession of the mustard belt.
Patrick Bertoletti, you wanted to hoist that mustard belt for so long. How does it feel now? You told us it's going to be life-changing. Is it that?
Always the bridesmaid, never the bride, but today I'm getting married.
58 hot dogs. You wanted to eclipse that number of 55. You did more than a decade. What did it take to get here?
3 months of practice, dedication, and I just can't believe it. I'm always 2nd or 3rd, and this is big.
You always said in previous contests that you didn't necessarily do your best on this stage, even though you practiced well. What helped you get over the hump this time?
I lost some weight, just lots of work, and there was an urgency. With Joey not here, I knew I had a shot, and I was able to unlock something that I don't know where it came from, but I'm not complaining.
Congratulations.
A new king of consumption has been crowned, Rich. Joey Chestnut could have won his 17th today. Of course, he wasn't here. Pat Bertoletti, one of the greats in the annals of this sport, has won. How do you feel about what's just transpired?
I'd say no asterisk at all. There are no paper champions. Bertoletti had a day, real day, 58, impressive. I'm pleased for him.
And to do this, coming out of retirement, when it seemed his best years were behind him, I'm trying to think of historical parallels, but there really aren't any in Major League Eating. This is just spectacular performance for Pat Bertoletti. As he said, this is life-changing for him. And Jeffrey Etzfer, the bridesmaid again.
Great to be with you, Jeremy. That was a great call. Have a great holiday.
For Rich, Shea, and Tiffany Green, I'm Jeremy Sheff on Coney Island.